For everyone else, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So blessed to be able to share this call with you tonight. And it's about a topic that I really took to heart, when I got started, and it really helped me with my own business, of course. And we're talking about a little bit of the importance of how to be able to close your meetings and to close of course, your prospects, and also how to use the tools to do that. So, as always, I love to get some feedback from everyone and, of course, get a chance to get you all involved in the training. I do believe that when you get involved and you're chatting in the chat box, that the trainings become that much more worthwhile and effective for yourself as well, too. So, that being said, I just want to get a raise of hands here or just say I in the chat box, which was who here would like to learn some different strategies and techniques, of course, to be able to increase your closing success. Okay, how many of you here would love to be able to learn some tips and some skills, not quite tricks, because I guess the word trick sometimes seems almost as if a gimmick, but actual important skills and some semantics and language to use in closing. Okay, so I could talk about for 3 hours on this topic, but I am going to try to condense it to the most important parts. And let's get started right away. So, as always, one of the things that I've learned, of course, when it comes to proper closing. I hope you have a pen and paper handy with you because I do think that it will really help you, of course, to be able to take these notes down and, of course, to review the notes at a later point in time. I recall when I first got started, I had an actual book that was just, of course, devoted to learning and taking my notes. So one of the very first things that you want to have, okay, in terms of closing, is what we call the 3 Ds. Okay, the 3 Ds. Yep, so the A, B, C, D. Okay. And let me just do a quick check here because some of you have, of course, been through our company's training. What do you think the 3 Ds, so A, B, C, D, D, would actually stand for? Okay, so it's a short form for 3 different words. And let's see here, of course, who can remember the 3 Ds. If you're brand new, don't worry about it. Enjoy the training. And it's going to open up my little chat box here to see what we have so far from everyone. Okay, great. Thank you for those who are participating and would love to learn how to, of course, to improve your closing rate ratio. So here we go. Okay, I'm seeing some great answers here. Fantastic. And we're almost on the right track. So the first D of the 3 Ds, of course, is your determination. So the first D is called determination. And when we say that, why is determination important when you want to be able to, of course, go and help someone and improve your closing process? Is essentially is not to give up. Be determined to help your prospect get through their questions. Be determined to do your best at showing your prospects what Opulence is about. Be determined to find out how it is that you can help your prospects. So that determination, and not the willingness to just want to quit. You'd be surprised. Oftentimes, our prospects actually like to almost test to see your confidence or your determination about this business. In other words, sometimes, I've actually met different prospects who I noticed, were sort of asking tough questions, and I love tough questions. I love questions, period. And sometimes I realized that after they ask all their questions, they end up getting started. And part of it was they wanted to see how determined you were about your business, about yourself, and about them getting. They want to see confidence from you that they're making a right decision. Sometimes people aren't quite confident in themselves. They're not sure if they're making the right decision. But if they see how determined you are about this business, guess what happens? They borrow that confidence, they borrow that strength from you. Okay. So, one, of course, is determination. Another word, of course, is the dialogue, the actual language. What are the things that you are saying? Now, of course, some of these things here, we can't teach everything tonight. That's why attending our boot camps and attending our conferences and our Saturday morning trainings are so important. But dialogue is very important. Okay, and that pretty much means that you understand a lot of the information that is in the company. You're able to answer questions and able to effectively answer their questions. Okay, and sometimes, guess what? Not just answer their questions, but also handle their objections. Now, we used to do a handling objections training that would last like 2, 3 weeks. And definitely we can look at doing that again. We do have the training on how to handle the most common objections, of course, on our YouTube channels. So whether it's the company's Opulence Global YouTube channel or even my YouTube channel, we have those recordings on how to handle the most common objections. And again, dialogue, of course, is very, very important when it comes to that. Okay, so we have, of course, determination, we have dialogue, and the last D, of course, is the way that you deliver that dialogue, how you deliver the dialogue. And you might have heard this saying before, right? Oftentimes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I truly believe that in business, if you are able to learn to have a good delivery. In other words, you are confident, you are calm, you are enthusiastic about your answers and your dialogue, and you look determined, okay, you're going to have a great time in having a lot of more percentage chances of your prospect being started. Okay, so there we go again. We have the determination, we have the dialogue, and of course the delivery. All right, and so I've actually seen sometimes when I'm sort of scouring the room and we have a lot of guests, for example, that sometimes some conversations tend to get a little bit heated, or I can see one of our partners perhaps getting a little bit impatient or maybe getting aggravated. And so what I've learned, though, of course, is you do want to be strong. You don't want to look like you're weak. You definitely don't want to let people, of course, step all over you. But tonight, I want to teach you some of the most effective ways of handling some of the most annoying or the most toughest objections. Are you pumped for that? If you're pumped, say I am pumped. Because again, I really learned so much in this
I
training.
am pumped.
All right, thank you, Ronan. Thank you. Okay, so that's the 3Ds. Now, the 3Ds, we also must have, okay, the 3Es. Okay, so again, get your pen and paper ready. The 3Ds we have already. Now, of course, is the 3Es. Okay, and can anyone here, again, let's have a little fun time here. Who can guess what those 3Es must be? Okay, here we go. So, okay, I'm seeing enthusiasm, I'm seeing effective, I'm seeing evolving. No, and truly and really, there's actually more than 3Es because all these answers actually look good to me. But the 3Es that I've learned in this training, bam, we just got the third one, is a combination of being excited, okay? Definitely being excited. So, but here's the thing though, make a note here. In terms of excitement, I would say take your prospects energy, which is the second one, is energy, okay, and just add one. So, in other words, if your person is very, very, very excited and you are a very calm person, you need to up your game and just be as excited for them, because the last thing you want to do is have a prospect who's very has very high excitement or high energy, and you're very low, right? Now you're killing the vibe. Vice versa, if your person is, for example, we call them the sea urchins, the 4 different characteristics of personalities, and the sea urchin is someone who's very, very numbers, they're not easily hyped up, so they're very, very sort of, calm. And if you're too excited and too high energy, it might throw them off. So I like to always take my prospects' excitement level and kind of add one, if that makes sense. All right. So the 3Es, of course, are being excited, having enthusiasm, And what I'm saying is sometimes the way that we talk, again, it's not what we say, but how we say it. For example, I could say, the Lifestyle Advisor Plus package is truly and really the most best package we have in the company. It has amazing $1,000 mystery box, or you can get 6 bottles of FOL. Again, you have the e-mall, woohoo, right? But of course, if I were to say that differently, like, you know what, the Lifestyle Advisor Package Plus is one of the best packages, again, because you have a choice of that's our mystery box or 6 FOL. And of course, you have the maximum discount, the highest buying power. So the same verbiage, the same script, but the enthusiasm that comes from your voice is very important. And it's funny, I recall hearing myself do a presentation. I actually recorded myself doing the whole presentation, and I actually played back my recording, and I thought I was going to fall asleep because I didn't realize how boring I was and how dead I sounded in my first recording. So if you haven't done that yet, you know what? Get a chance to have someone, record yourself presenting the presentation, and you'll realize what areas you're not perhaps too knowledgeable in presenting, which areas you might have made a mistake in presenting, but definitely you'll find out which areas that you don't sound good. And so, of course, after 16 years of doing this, you're going to master it eventually, right? So excitement, enthusiasm, of course, and your energy. But you know what? I really love the word engage. Engaged. Julie Allen, I love that. A lot of great E's here, like being effective, of course, Wayne Tope. But I do like the engaged because you do want to be engaged with your prospect. And I have seen again certain people that bring people out, and they expect as if the prospect is supposed to be the one who's leading the way and being excited and asking all these questions. No, sometimes you have to engage with your prospect. And again, we have tools for that. We have a lot of tools, and there's two main tools that I want to talk about today that, of course, will make your life so much easier. Okay, so we had the 3 Ds, which is dialogue, determination, and delivery. We, of course, have the 3 Es, which is excitement, enthusiasm, energy. I love the word engage. In fact, I used to watch a lot of Star Trek, and Captain Picard would say, engage. But of course, I'm not a starship captain. So, anyways, we have the 3 Es, okay? Excited, enthusiasm, and energy. So, with those three things, I want to share with you, of course, a powerful way of dealing with objections. What you will find, of course, during this closing process. And I'm telling you all these things up front so that when we go over the survey and the 30 use cases, you're going to have all this in your mind. So it really makes a lot more sense for you. Okay. So we have the 3 Ds. We have the 3 Es. What do you think is the next letter we're going to have the three things in? Right? It's going to be the 3 Fs. Okay. Now let's be very careful that we don't choose the wrong Fs here. But of course, the F do definitely relate to handling objections. Okay. I won't even bother getting into some stories I have of my son coming home and their teachers calling me with some new dictionary languages they have learned from school. And yes, thank you, team. They already guessed what it was. Is the feel, felt, and found technique. The feel, felt, and found technique. Okay. And I've actually seen two different kinds of training like this. One is called the feel, felt, and found. Okay. And one is called the acknowledgement training, acknowledge. And so it's really the same thing. So whenever you have an extremely or any kind of objection, it could be, for example, let's just list here what are your most common objections that you might get, or the most annoying objections that you might get. One could be, well, I don't have any money. So share with me, what are some of the objections that you receive? Because sometimes people think that they're the only ones getting these objections. No, everyone gets them. The only difference is some people have learned to deal with these objections more effectively than some others. Okay. So again, let's see here. Too expensive. Okay, I'm not a salesperson. I have no time. I'm interested, but timing is not right for me. Okay, great. Keep them coming. Okay, and I'm going to teach you some techniques. Okay, that would really help you. Okay, um, get through all these objections. Okay, so I don't do MLM. My spouse doesn't want me to do it. I'm a shy person. Wonderful. Again, these are all objections I have received. In fact, I have a whole PowerPoint on how to most effectively handle these objections. And of course, we will go through that at some point in time. All right. So here we go. So whatever you get, one of the biggest techniques that you can do, I can't do sales. I'm too thin skinned. Great, I don't have money. Yep, okay, this is like Amway. Okay, again, all these ones I have gotten. I can promise you by now, of all these objections I've received, with what I'm going to teach you, that these same people that are giving these exact same objections have gone started afterwards. The universe doesn't want me to do it. Okay, that's a crazy one. Okay, I guess they really speak to the universe, right? Again, I've seen crazy ones, right? So, anyways, here is the technique. All right, feel, felt, and found. So, the first step is, like I mentioned about my other training I've learned, which is to acknowledge, is you want to acknowledge the objection. The one thing you don't want to do is make it as if their objection is invalid. Because if you make your prospect's objection feel invalid, in other words, you're not validating that their objection is a legitimate objection, then what might happen is now you're both on two sides of the fence. And now it's like a tug of war game, right? The more effective technique is to relate or to acknowledge how they're feeling. Because what that does is the moment you tell them the first F, oh, by the way, you know what? I know actually how you feel. When you say that instantly, when you say, I know how you feel, what do you think happens for your prospect? They're not thinking that you are on the other side of the fence or you're up here and I'm down here. They're thinking, you know what? We're actually eye to eye. They feel like, okay, well, if you've been there, that's great. And now they're actually going to be more open to hearing what you have to say. That's right. They feel heard. They're on the same page as you. But more importantly, the moment you say, I know how you feel, if anything, it creates one of the three C's that I often talk about. And one of the three C's is curiosity. Is curiosity. Because now that they know that you have felt that you had that same feeling, they're probably curious about, well, how did you get through this, right? And now I'm kind of interested to see what you're going to say because you're obviously here and you know how I feel, so let's hear it. And so when you say know how you feel, the second one is felt. You want to again repeat that you have felt that way before. So feel, felt. And the last F is, but what I found out was, and dot, dot, dot. So I know how you feel. I felt that way before. But what I found out was, so now you've taken an objection where someone might have felt like they're on the opposite side of the room from you or different level from you. And now you put yourself in the same basket, the same jar with them, right? And if anything, they're going to, I guess, yes, they're going to feel more connected to you. And also they're going to feel very, very curious to know, well, what happened? So now again, in terms of again, we had so many objections here. And again, we don't have time for this training, but if you do use that, you know, for example, I'll just do two easy ones, right? I don't have time. But you know what? I know how you feel. In fact, I felt that way before. And then again, you can say why, because like, you know, because I mean, like you, I was extremely busy. I had a full-time job. You know, I was working from about 9 to sometimes 6 p.m., 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Oftentimes, you know, I also had to do my other life. I have more things to do. You know, I have, for example, whether you have kids or you have, excuse me, Ooh, excuse me, whether you have kids or you have other commitments. So you're saying that you know how they feel. You felt the same way because of blah, 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 blah. So now you're also sharing your story and explaining to them why you were so busy. But what I found out was if I want to have more time in the future, something has to change. And I realized that this business, if I could just sacrifice a little bit of my time, maybe just 3 to 5 hours a week in this business, that in the long run, it would give me my time back. It would give me that time back. And that's why I decided to get started, right? Then, of course, you can give testimonials of other people who have, of course, achieved time and freedom. Or it could be, I don't have any money. Well, you know what, John? I know how you feel. I felt that way before because I felt like that I was living paycheck to paycheck. I felt like I was always spending more on my credit cards than what was coming in my, from my paycheck. I felt like I could never get ahead. Money just kept flying out the door. But what I found out was if I want to have more money, I've got to do something differently than what I've been doing for the past 5 years to change my next 5 years. And I realized that this business here with some part-time effort could really add me some extra money, right? So again, that's two examples of what you could say, right? I'll give one last one, okay? Well, I'm not a salesperson. Well, you know what, Judy, I know how you feel because actually I felt the same way before. I was never really a salesperson. I never liked being sold things, and I never liked to sell things at all. In fact, I still don't like to sell things. But you know what? What I found out, Judy, was that with our amazing products, I actually don't feel like I'm selling the products because I just love sharing all these amazing stories. And I know so many people that are struggling with different health issues that, you know what, I'm not even selling. I'm just sharing with people that I have a product that could really help them. And they just want to buy from me. And once they buy from me, they have immediate benefits and they want to refer more and more customers to me. So I don't even feel like I'm even selling in this business. It's the most wondrous feeling, right? So the feel felt found can really take someone who doesn't feel they're on the same levels with you, and it puts you guys together in a way that now allows you to share the right dialogue through the right determination, the right delivery with good excitement, enthusiasm, and energy. And of course, now you made someone comfortable. Okay. Again, I just happen to practice this so many times that it just rolls off my tongue. Okay. And that's why if you ever can go to a boot camp in your area, go to a boot camp, go to your con, because a lot of times we have in-person exercises where you practice these dialogues back and forth with another partner. It's a very safe environment, right? Okay. Now, one of the things though, one of the last tips I can share with you, can I give you one last tip? Is that okay, everyone? I hope that someone's learning something tonight. Can I share one last tip that might help you, of course, in your closing process? Okay, I got some yes, please. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. Okay, so sometimes though, we get the objection like, I don't have any money. Okay. And here's the funny thing. Write this down, please. Okay. Or actually, if you can, yes. How does Yulia know exactly what I want to say before I say it? It's like she has this, she's like a psychic, right, from overseas, right? Yes. Draw an onion. I want you to draw like an onion or a big circle, like many, many circles, like I guess like this, right? The circle, many, 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 many circles, right? That's an onion, okay? And you're probably asking, well, why is Rene asking me to draw an onion? Of course, I love to eat onions. In fact, I actually buy onions, I salt them for an hour, and then I rinse it, put in the fridge, rinse it, and I make my own special crunchy onion with some sesame oil, pepper, salt, and some vinegar. And no, I'm just kidding, right? Well, I do that, but that's not the purpose of the onion tonight. So the onion represents someone who is giving you objections, but the objections that they're giving you is not the true objection. it's not the real reason. They're just using it as an excuse, thinking that you just might leave them alone. Like, I don't have time, I don't have money. Often those two objections aren't even really the real objection. Does that make sense? Like, most people who say I don't have any money or no time, trust me, it's actually not the real objection. So we need to try to keep peeling the layers of the onion to find out what is the core thing inside the onion that is the real reason that might be holding them back. And one of the best ways, do you want to learn one of the best ways to peel the layers of the onion? Who would like to learn how? Okay. Oh, you know what? I think my battery is going to die in like 10 seconds and this call will be over. Shoot. I'm just kidding. Right. So, yeah.
I was
How
about to
to
ask
be.
if you needed help.
Oh, thank you, Ronan. Thank you for always being in the backup. Really appreciate you as always. Thank you. Here is the secret to peeling the layers of the onion. They tell you I don't have time. Of course, I would do the feel, felt, and found, which we just went through. Okay. But after I mentioned that, I would then do the write this down. If you dot dot dot, would you dot dot dot? Kind of like if you would you, right? So what that means is, let's say they have no time. I did the whole feel, felt, and found thing. I would then finish by saying, well, John, by the way, if you had the time to do this business, would you actually get started then? So the if you, would you? For example, I don't have any money. Okay, well, John, Judy, if you actually had the money to get started, would you get started today? And which package would you take? And what you will find out, okay, is again that might not be the real objection. Now, of course, this just works for a lot of the objections, but Yulia has a great question, right? How would you do that with the salesman objection? Well, most likely, I think the salesman objection is actually quite a legitimate objection in the sense that they're just not, again, they're just misunderstanding the nature of the business. So what you could say is, well, Yulia, if you didn't have to be a salesman or a salesperson to do this business, would you do the business? So you're always asking the opposite, right? I don't want to be, I don't have any time. Well, if you had the time, well, I don't want to be a salesperson. Well, if you didn't have to be a salesperson, and I could show you a way of doing this business without sounding like a salesperson, would you then be interested? So everything has a way of working with it if you, would you. And again, the reason that we're asking these two questions is because, again, we want to peel back the layers of the onion. And it's very interesting. I remember one prospect gave me every possible objection you could think of. And in the end, after maybe 20, 30 minutes of going back and forth, I realized the reason why he did not want to get started was because he was worried that his wife would be angry. Right? So then I just said, well, you know what? I said, that is a very, very legitimate concern. And I know how you feel. Um, I can understand how every guy would feel about that situation. And I've seen other people that have the same issue. So you know what? Would it be better for you if I could give you some information to go home with it, and you could arrange a time for your wife to come and take a look? And they felt much better. Now, mind you, one technique I've always used is this: is before they go home and talk to their spouse, I also know that it's very likely that their spouse might be very negative. Does that make sense, right? Because, if you ever expect your prospect to go home and to try to explain what they just heard for 2 hours or an hour, and they try to go home and they try to talk to their spouse, they're not going to be able to be very effective at doing that, right? So what I've done before in the past is I've said this. I said, John, if you were to go home and speak with your wife, and there's a very high probability that she might just be completely closed-minded to this opportunity. Out of curiosity, because you've seen how this is a no-risk business. Whatever you put in for the package, you get that back in product. You really have a free business. You can use these products for yourself. So instead of buying these products from the grocery stores, it's the same money you're spending. So you're actually spending more money. And last but not least, if you're in Canada, the USA, you get great tax benefits. And in fact, you're actually going to be getting additional tax refund. So in the event, John, that you went home and you know what, your wife was very, very negative, yet you still saw all the benefits I've shown you tonight, would you actually consider doing this business, perhaps without her even knowing, because you know that you're doing it for the family and you know that you're doing it for you and for your family? It's for them. So why do you think I would ask that question? Mainly because I want to set their expectation that that might happen. And because the prospect I was talking about, he was so excited about the business in the end. He actually really wanted to do it. And so luckily in the end, of course, we tried different techniques to have him talk to his wife, and eventually she did come out. But I do want to set up the initial expectation that, hey, it might could be that they're just not for it, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't go and do it, right? So again, that's one other key technique, of course, which is, of course, the onion technique is to peel back different layers of the onion. And you know what? When it comes to getting questions, I actually really enjoy, going through. It's kind of like a challenge for me, like a video game. You want to kind of get past all the different layers of the onion, right? And okay, I'll take one last one here before we continue with the tool, which is, how do I answer? I do not have any health issues. I am very healthy. Again, we use exact same technique, right? You know what, Sarah, I know how you feel. I felt that way before because you know what? I mean, I was 27 when I got started, or I was like, whatever it is, I was very young. I didn't have many health issues. I eat well, I exercise, I sleep well. But you know what I found out was that I had so many friends of mine who just the same were so healthy, and you would never think that anything bad could happen to them. And out of nowhere, these people end up just suddenly having, really bad, surprising cancers or strokes or heart issues, right? And so I realized, and what I learned and what I found out. Here comes the found part. What I found out was that we need to actually take some supplements, even though we look and feel healthy, because there are a lot of hidden things that we just don't see, right? And even though I've gone and do like bi-yearly blood tests, and I exercise and I eat well, and so do many people, that some things just catch you by surprise. And what I found out was that free radicals are the main issue. Of course, that causes inflammation, and we really do need to find something to take care of our health. And so for me, I would rather, take the preventative way than to try to find a cure later on. Prevention, as our actually, I got this from Brian Arundel. He always says that prevention is always better than the cure, right? He's never seen a situation where a cure would be better than prevention. Like why get to the point where you're so unhealthy and you let your body degrade that worse, and that you have to pay all this money for drugs? Why not do prevention? It's always going to be better than the cure, right? Same thing, feel, felt, and found, right? So have we learned something new today or tonight? Wow, what a great start. And wow, 40 minutes into the training and we only have 20 minutes left. Okay. I better speed things up here. My goodness. Okay. Um, we almost didn't even get to go through this. Let me open up, of course, the file on my computer and let me share this. So one of the other really key things here that you want to have, okay, is, of course, your tools. What I'm talking about is our post-tour survey and action plan. if you ever have a prospect, especially if you have the prospect in person, you want to have at least two things always printed out. I can actually add a third one, but first of all, you want to have this survey because the survey is designed to help you try to figure out what excites your prospect, or maybe even ask those tough questions that you might be shy to ask. Okay, so here it is, our survey. Of course, they fill their name, date, who invited them, of course, and their WhatsApp and their email. You want to have this, of course, in case you want to contact them later on, right? Give us your feedback, right? Did you find this Opulence Global tour informative, enjoyable, too long, or suggestions? We always want feedback. That's fantastic. And here's where they will choose one of the four options, right? Free, become a VIP shopper, okay? And so it says, become an Opulence VIP shopper and get VIP shopping discounts on all Opulence luxury and wellness products. You can also accumulate to earn free products. And I am eager to try. So here's where now they're actually telling you which of the products they were most excited about. Now, by the way, we're going to change this. This is actually one of the older names, but we found a much better name for our new product. Of course, that new product is called Divine8, which we're going to get a lot more training from Sanaz, okay, when she gets back next week. And so, but again, you will understand what appeals to your prospect. Or I love my fashion and want my fairy and posh designer fashion lines now. Okay, and there's actually a link to the lookbook if you have this on a digital version. Of course, the next option, option number 2, is to earn unlimited retail profits with the brand partner or the e-mall. Okay. Again, what you're going to get here is the turnkey cutting edge Opulence e-mall customized for you for an entire 12 months. Now, by the way, we're going to update the survey, of course, when we have the new retailer mall. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Again, that email is preloaded with thousands of professional grade products with full shopping cart access, drop ship all over the world, plus many more options. And here's your discount. Of course, we have the LA package and the LAP package, right? So the really key thing is that this survey is really important because it helps you get an idea of where your prospect is. All right. And so you can see here that the next step is to use your sponsor's link and launch your email in seconds. And of course, you can even put a link here with a little sticky of your own email. And of course, the third step is onboarding with the Opulence commandments. So in other words, follow simple step-by-step process of the Opulence commandments. Of course, in your dashboard, training and events, business tools and training, and you'll become an Opulence pro in no time. Now, I love to also finish my survey with this amazing quote, okay? Which is, I'd rather have 1% of the effort of 100 men than 100% effort of my own, right? The whole idea of leveraging and passive income. So this is a fantastic tool to have, and you want to have it, have them fill it out, because it's going to help you in combination with all the things I taught you tonight with the 3Ds, E's, and F's. Okay, so that's one of the tools here. And the other really important tool that because a lot of you might have seen this survey before, but the other really important tool that I wanted everyone to really start to use if you have not already been using it before, I'm going to show it right now. Can anyone guess what is the, yes, Yulia always knows what to say before I say it. All right, is of course the use cases. Very, very important, the use cases. And this tool to me is so powerful. It's so powerful that I wouldn't even use it in just the closing. I would actually use it in the prospecting and approach phase of the business. So let's just suggest that we're doing it for the post-tour closing, right? So again, the survey, it asks them, which one of the following products are you most excited to try? Okay. This is the use cases is a very different mindset. It's a very different strategy going into the closing process, because we're not asking them what are they excited about trying. That makes it sound as if they had to spend more money to try that product. The tactic and the strategy of this use cases is called cost transition, is to make them realize that they're spending money on these things already. And instead of buying these things from the malls, which does not promote their business, that does not help them earn extra income, that when they gift these things to other people does nothing for them, it's not promoting them, that the point of this is that they realize, hey, it's the same money you're spending. Don't spend it at the malls. Let's cost transition where you're spending that money and spend it in your own business. It's the same money you're spending, not extra. You're not paying extra for this. It's the same money, but now you're buying from your own business. Why wouldn't you do that? Right? And now you're promoting your own business. When you give gifts, gift these things from your own mall. Don't gift from the outside malls, right? So imagine at the end of the tour, just ask your person, oh, by the way, could you fill this out? Are you using any of these products? Toothpaste, checkbox. Mouthwash, maybe not. Dry mouth spray, maybe not. Shampoo will be a checkbox. Conditioner, if it's a guy, maybe not. If it's a woman, it'll be a checkbox, right? Body wash or soap definitely will be a checkbox. Now, if you meet someone that has none of those checked off, they might not smell too good. I don't know, right? I'm just kidding, right? But again, if they check none of these things off, then most likely it means that they're quite closed up and they're probably very, very skeptical of something. In that case, what I would do is just really rewind, take a few steps back, and just build like and trust. Don't even try to, go through the survey, whatever it is. Or don't try to force the close. I would just take a step back to take 2 steps forward, rebuild that like and trust, and then go slowly forward. But again, most people, would just easily go through this: aftershave, anti-aging skincare, hand and body moisturizer, deodorant, antioxidant, health supplement, wound healing cream, antibacterial ointment, a micro cleansing spray, earrings, rings, bracelets, necklaces, watches, sunglasses, optical glasses, purses, briefcases, messenger bags, belts, wallets, luggages, dress shoes, heels, sneakers, loafers, and flats. Now, again, the powerful thing with this use cases is, again, to make them realize that they are already spending money on buying these things. In fact, I would take this to the next level and kind of ask them, well, do you mind putting down how much you spend on these things, right? How much is your toothpaste? How much is your shampoo? How much is your body wash soap? How much is your shaving cream? How much is your aftershave? Like, imagine having them actually write down the amounts they're spending. Some people, by the way, on health supplement or antioxidant spend like $500 buying all these different pills and stuff from Costco, for example, or for the health food stores, right? So, and some people, like fashionistas who love their brand name stuff, might spend so much money on the jewelry, right? And the handbags and purses. And what I would do is add up all the money they spend. Okay? Who can guess where I'm going with this? Who can guess where I'm going with this? What do I want to tally up all of the money they're spending on this? Most likely, it's going to be like, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a year, right? So they're spending a lot of money. Question: how much is our lifestyle advisor plus package? 1965, right? So imagine if someone's totals in this use cases was like $5,000. And you can say, well, you spent $5,000 on things that never paid you or promoted you or gave you a tax deduction. Why not just the same money you're going to spend in the next year buying these things? Stop doing that, right? Get your own business, launch at the Lifestyle Advisor Plus package, buy from your own business, promote your own business, promote your own products, Oh, by the way, I would almost want, can you all please remember to ask one question on this use cases that's not here? Can I please ask you guys? Okay. There's one question here that is not here, and I would like you to always ask this. Well, I'm gonna ask it. So I think maybe you can ask it. Who wants to know what Rene thinks you should ask? Okay. Um, oh shoot, it's 9:50 and there's no more time. My battery's gonna die again. Okay. So the question I think you should definitely ask on this page is, by the way, how much money do you spend on gifting every year? And all of the different no, my battery's plugged in. How much money do you spend on gifting every year for all the gifting occasions? Whether it's Christmas, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Days, Renee Day, I'm sorry day. I have a few of those. Baby, I'm so sorry. Here's a gift for you. Right? Okay. So I would definitely ask that question, which is again, by the way, how much money do you spend on buying gifts every year? Where am I going with this? Because why would you, again, if you're buying that much money in gifts, now you're just promoting other people's brands. Why not give a gift from your own email? And guess what? That customer, that friend of yours that you gave, for example, the toothpaste or the fountain of life, they might become your forever future monthly customer now, your forever customer. So please, please, please always ask people this question, right? How much do you spend on gifting every year? Did everyone get all the different occasions that you gift? Should I write it down in the group chat? I mean, there's so many things here, right? So again, I'm just gonna type it in really quickly so y'all don't forget. So Christmas, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, Mother's Day, Father's Day, yeah, Valentine's Day, um, you know, any gifting or promoting or promotion days, whatever you want to call it, and of course, most important, I'm sorry day. There we go. I mean, you add, I'm not even, oh, arbor or labor, I'm not even sure what that is. But anyway, it doesn't matter. My whole point though, of course, is a lot of people spend a lot of money buying gifts, right? So again, the tactic here, now you lead to question number two, which is, are you getting paid using or promoting or gifting these products? And they're going to say no. And of course, this one here, this third question is almost like an approaching, which I'm gonna get to before we close out today. But that is what I would use this 100% in collaboration with the survey, right? This should make it a no-brainer, to join the business. Because now people aren't thinking, I need an extra 1965. They're thinking, I already, you spend a few thousand, 5,000 a year, but this one is a smarter way of spending my money. Let me cost transition where I spend my money. And last but not least, I would definitely use this. You can use this actually during the approach, you know? And so if you were to meet with someone and, and you want to talk to them more about, of course, and you want to share with them, perhaps they were using some product for a while already, and you want to show them the business, this is a great way of leading into that. Even just for a customer, like if you have a customer who's already using the fountain of life or the toothpaste, why not go through this and show them? So that you're already spending the money on these products. Why not become at the very least our new retail mall or an LA Plus, right? Okay. If at least if anything, it will help them realize that there's more than just toothpaste in our company. There's more than just fountain of life in our company. So there's so many ways that you can actually use this from the approach part all the way down to even the survey. Okay. And so I do hope that in the quick hour that we had today, that I was able to share a lot of great information with all of you. And I do hope that all of you will print this out and you make sure that you bring it with you to every meeting that you have. You can, whether you use it in the approach phase or you use it in the survey and the closing phase, just use it. Just use it. Okay. It's going to help you regardless. All right. So that being said, yes, actually, Maria Baptiste actually even brought hers, to the weekly tour. And so I hope again you had a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in.